Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to our Flow webinar focusing on templates. Today, we are very excited to introduce to you an amazing new feature, and that is our flows. Let's go ahead and get started. A flow is a series of steps that are used to guide the user through each phase of an internal process. Flows can transfer from one user to another as steps are completed. Steps can be automated and repeated if needed. eUnify has created some templates for your use, and in a later session, we'll learn how to customize those templates as well as create flows from scratch. So right now we have 3 types of flows that you can utilize. One is a firm flow. And a firm level flow is a flow which will allow you to create a flow, all associations at one time. We also have an association type, which will create a flow for an individual association, i.e. maybe you're trying to get a budget approved for one association at a time. Now, just because the association level flows, you're using one at a time, you can also do groups of association or even all associations if you choose. And lastly, we have an account flow, and this flow will be created for an individual account, i.e. if a user needs a waiver approval. Okay, so next up, we want to discuss the pages in the flow module. So in order to access that, you're going to go to Activities, Flows, and you've got 3 pages here that you can access: Flow, My Flow Actions, and a Flow Template. So we'll take a quick look at these pages and you can see what is contained on them. So first we're going to go to Activities, Flows, and Flow. Okay, so this is our flow page. And this was going to provide to you an overview of the flows in process. You can use the search bar to narrow or expand your search. And then you'll see all the information regarding that flow. You'll have the ID number. You'll have the title of the flow. You'll have the association that it's for. If this is an account level flow, you will see the account name associated with that particular account. You have the description of what the flow does, the current step or block it's on. When you're talking about flows, a step and a block, they're pretty much interchangeable terms. You will see a start date, an end date, and then who's currently responsible for the step that it's on. All right. The next page, which is the My Flow Actions, if you go to Activities, Flows, and My Flow Actions. You are going to be able to view and decision all flow items that are currently your responsibility. So I'm going to pull up my trusty Sun Valley 3. Right now, I have no items that need a decision, so nothing is assigned to me, so I don't have anything to do at this time. But if I did have tasks associated with these flows, I would see a list of them here. And lastly are our flow templates. So you can go to, once again, Activities, Flows, and Flow Template. And this will show, I'm going to click on Search. This will show all of the templates that are currently available for your site. You can use the search bar up here to narrow or expand your search results. And just to flip over here to our flow template page, just gonna look at association flows. Right now, you guys should have available to you templates to upload meeting minutes to the board portal, budget approval process, monthly board package review, and monthly board package review, board and homeowner package. And on the account level, you'll have two, I believe, which is owner refund request and owner waiver request. All righty. So to discuss flows in a little more detail, first of all is our account level flows. There are a couple of different ways that an account level flow can be initiated. One way is to initiate from the Find Accounts page. So let's go over and let's just pull up a homeowner and go to their Find Accounts page. We're just going to find a guy. Doesn't even matter which guy. And I'm going to go to Laguna Beach. Oops, sorry. Sorry about that. All righty. So you can see there's a button up here that says Initiate Flow. I can click on that to initiate a flow. And then this will show me all of the account level flows that I have available, which is an owner refund request or an owner waiver request. I can also hover over page action and click on Initiate Flow. And I can also do this by going to my resident request tab. And if I kick off a resident request that has a flow associated to it, which you all now have two resident requests out there that do have flows associated to them. And one is a, I believe, late fee waiver. You find it. One for late fee waiver, sorry about that, and one for owner refund. Those should all be assigned to your sites, so you should be able to utilize those. And once you kick those off, those will create a flow for you. So it will create a resident request out here for the owner, and it will also kick off a flow on your flows page. Another option to allow an account level flow is on the owner's portal account. The owner can choose one of those resident requests we talked about, either the late fee waiver or the owner refund. When they kick that off, then a flow will create as well. So the owner will go onto their portal account and they'll kick it off from there. And then you'll be able to not only see the resident request on the owner's account, you'll be able to see the flow that the owner kicked off when they activated the resident request. And lastly, you can go to activities, flows, flow template. And from this flow template, you can find account level flows, and then you can click on create flow. Now this is an option you can use. You can create the flow from here for anything firm, association, or account level flows. But the thing is, when you're using an association flow, you have to go back to the flow page and choose the association you want that assigned to. And if you're using an account, then you have to go and choose the association, the owner account you want that assigned to. So it's all possible, but first you will need to make those options and then you can run it. Okay, so next up, options to run an association flow. This can be initiated from the Accounting, Financial, Association Geo page. This is going to bring up all of your associations. You can pick one and initiate from one, or you can do multiples, however it is you want to make that work. So just click on that. You'll hover over the page actions, and then you'll initiate the flow. You can also do that from the activities, flows, and flow template page. Just make sure you choose the association flow type, find the template that you want to use, click Create Flow. Okay, so I'll take a quick break. Does anyone have any questions? Just go ahead and type that into the chat questions field, and then I'll take a look at it. I'll see it. I'll answer it if I can. Also, it would be helpful if you raise your hands. That way I know you have something out there. Okay. Okay, so first one, how do flows get on our dashboard? I'm not 100% following what you're asking. There will be a way to work your flows from your dashboard if that's your question. If you just want to be able to access flow pages from the dashboard, that's not really going to be an option. However, you can mark your flow page as a favorite. My flow actions page, I can mark that as a favorite by clicking on the star up there to add it to quick links. It'll tell it okay. And then when I hover over my home page, I'll be able to see that in my quick links and go directly to that page. You will also be able to access your flow actions from email as well. So there'll be a lot of options. The pages themselves are not going to go on the dashboard, but you can get access to some of those pages from your dashboard. Okay. Okay. Doesn't appear that the notes entered in the resident request show in the flow for a fee waiver. Is that going to be updated? Yeah, you're gonna have to send me, if you don't mind. I believe this is Chris? I think this is Chris. Can you see? No, that's not Chris. I'm not certain who's asking that. Can you send me a copy of what you're looking at? And I'll be happy to check it out and see if I can figure out what's going on with that. You can send that to my email, or you can send that into ticket@eunified.net. Okay. We have not been given flows as an option on our dashboard. You have in your handouts, you have a setup grid that I provided to you guys. So if you're not able to see flows at all, you're going to need to pull that up and make certain that you have access to the flows pages, because you may not have access to the flows pages. So if you do that, give yourself access. I provided all the steps that you need. If you're still having trouble, feel free to send in a ticket to ticket@eunified.net, and we can take a look at it then. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's work some templates. So we talked about a couple of different types of flows. So we're going to initiate a couple of those right now. I'm going to initiate an account flow. I'll initiate one directly from the owner's account, and then I'll initiate a second one from the portal, logged in as a homeowner, so you can kind of see how both of those are going to look like. All right, so once again, from an owner's account, I'm going to click on Initiate Flow. And then I'm going to choose the flow I want, which in this case is the owner refund request. And this can be if an owner calls in and wants you to send them a refund, you can go ahead and kick the flow off from here. And I'm going to tell it to initiate. And then I'm going to tell it okay. Now what this is going to do is this is going to kick off the flow. And just so you can see how this specific flow is going to work, and that was the owner refund, we're going to go take a look at the flow template page. What I want to do is just walk you through all the steps that are included in this specific template. So we're going to go look at the account owner refund request. I'm going to click on the pencil to edit. So on this overview page, you're going to see the title of the flow type, and the description of the flow. In this case, this flow handles a refund request from an owner and routes the request to the appropriate staff, for processing. And if I switch over here to blocks, this will show you all of the steps or blocks that are included in this flow. So for this particular one, the first step is going to be for the system to generate a transaction history report. The next step is for this to go to AR to review. And if you look here, you will see the AR. If they approve it, then it goes to the manager to review. They put it on hold, then it'll put this refund request on hold. And down here are the recipients. Now, when you're working this flow, you may not need to use all of these steps every time. If you don't, that's fine. They're not there, so you have to use every single one. It just gives you a bunch of different items to choose from. That way, each particular flow can be worked individually. So down here in the manager review, the manager can either approve it, deny it, or put it on hold. Now over here in next block, it's going to tell you what block comes next. So let's say that the manager chooses to deny this. Then the next step is going to be the refund request denied. And if you go down here to that specific step, it's a refund request denied letter. So what this will do is this will process a refund denial letter to the owner, letting them know that their refund is denied. And since a comment is required, it will also put a comment on that letter, letting them know why that refund was denied. So you can just go through these blocks individually, and you can kind of see what this does, what the next steps are, who the recipients are, what happens when something is either approved or denied. And then the last step is always going to be the end block. I've named this one completed. Alrighty, so this is what your flow is going to do. And depending on what buttons you choose, that's going to be the next step that it goes to. So it's kind of like one of those choose your adventure books. I don't know if you guys used to read those when you were kids. I loved those. That's what this reminds me of. It's a choose your adventure flow. Alrighty. So that's what all the steps are. So now let's go see what we need to do with this particular flow. We're going to go to activities and flows. And just to kind of show you what this page looks like, I'm going to go back to this flow page. We looked at it earlier. This is the flow that I recently created. It's the accounts receivable, it's the owner refund request for Mr. Stark. And this will tell you that the current block or step is the accounts receivable review. So someone in accounts receivable needs to review it. Now, most of these recipients are going to be pulled directly from the association. Manage Associations page. And if I pop over here and go to my association, we're going to pull a lot of these recipients directly from your list right here where you've assigned people to the different tasks. That's one thing you can do. There are a lot of different ways to assign recipients. They can be assigned to individual users, or they can be assigned to an entire profile. So you got 3 or 4 different ways you can assign your steps. Now, for the sake of this demonstration and for simplicity, I have my name in all the spots. Most of the time, guys, your name's not going to be in all the spots, more than likely. So not everything's going to be assigned to you in this case. Since I did that, everything will be assigned to me, but you're not going to see it this way when you start working flows. Okay, so this is telling us what step that we're currently on and who's responsible for it. All right, so now that we're starting to work the flows, let's go and see my flow actions, which is going to show us stuff that we need to do. Sorry, I need to actually log into that person. All righty, so my apologies. In order for me to access those actions, I have to be logged in as Lovato demo, which I just did. So now I'll be able to see it in my flow actions. Yay, so these are all of the current actions that I need to do on these flows. So we'll go to the one we just started, which needs an AR review. I'm going to click on the pencil to edit. And then I'm going to take a look and see what I need to do. So this, once again, tells me the step that we're in, which in this case, it's the accounts receivable review. This tells me the association and the account. It tells me what needs to happen here. Accounts receivable to review refund request and transaction history. So this is telling me what I need to do. I need to review this. Over here on the right-hand side, there's a report attached because we had the system generate a report for us. So if I click on that, it's going to pull up the report. So here's a report of all the owner's transactions, so I can take a look at them and I can determine whether or not I think they need to get that refund. I also have an option here to upload an additional attachment. If I thought I needed one, I could upload that here, and then that attachment that I add will become a part of this record. So the next person reviewing this will be able to go over here and see this in the all flow files section. So they'll see not only the system generated items, but they'll see the items that you're adding in along the way. Now I have an option to either approve it or put it on hold. So let's say I did decide to put on hold. As you can see, the notes section gets highlighted in red because I've told the system, if you're going to put this on hold, then you need to provide a reason why you're putting on hold. So no one's just shoving it on hold and forgetting about it. There's an actual reason why the decision was made to put this on hold. If I switch this over to approve, I don't need to worry about it because I didn't tell it I needed a note for approved. If you wanted to require a note for approved, you absolutely could, completely up to you. So that sends it to the next step, which in this case is a manager review. So the manager for this association would be alerted that they have a flow outstanding they need to go look at. They'd go in here, click on the pencil to edit, and they would see the same things that the AR representative saw, which was step name, association, and account, what they need to do, notes, and then they'd get that same file that the AR representative received. So that same report that was generated. And if AR rep had maybe loaded in something here, they would see that out there as well. Now, the neat little thing about this particular All Flow files is this is a subscription. This can be pulled out of your report subscriptions and packages. So you don't have to create anything new. You can use something you're already using, or you can create a new subscription and attach it to a flow. So either one of those options would work. Now the manager has an extra decision. So they can either approve it, they can deny it, or they can put it on hold. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, I'm going to deny this. So I'm going to click denied. Now, once again, this is one of the options where I have told the system, if you're going to deny it, we're going to require a comment. So you can put on here, owner does not have credit balance. But just be advised, when you're putting something in here, this is going to show up on that letter we're going to send out to the owner. So just be careful what you're putting in there. So I'm going to click on denied. And then as you can see, it is off my plate because it's actually in the process of processing a letter. So if I go back to my flows and flow page, I can see what it's doing right now. And I can see that it's on the refund request letter denied. Now, if you're attaching a letter, you're going to attach that from your custom letter workflow. So it's going to work just like your current custom letters work. So you can go out to the Manage Generated page, and you should be able to pull up custom letters, and you should be able to see it there. And pull up Sun Valley, kind of narrow it a little bit. Now, it's not going to be there immediately because it needs a moment to parse, but as soon as it gets finished processing, then it's going to pop up right there. And you can see right here, my apologies, let me back up. If you click on the magnifying glass right here, because it tells me it's refund request denied letter is the step. If I click on the magnifying glass to view and I go over here to log, it'll show me what it's currently doing. So it's telling me right now that that letter is processing. And it's not quite ready yet. So I can actually go and do other things while this is processing. I don't have to wait on it. I can go work other flows. All right. I'm just going to take a minute. Okay, so that was one we're looking at. Does anybody have any questions regarding that flow or what we've done so far? Let's take a quick break. I don't see any additional questions coming in. It is always best when you're sorry, just lost my train of thought. It is always best when you're asking a question to raise your hand so I know that there's one out there, but I will catch it either way. And I don't see any new questions appearing. So we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the next item. All right, so this next item we're going to talk about is seeing how the owner can kick off a flow just by processing a resident request. So I'll pull up the portal and then I will share my screen. You should be able to see the portal. That's what you should be looking at right now. Now let's say you're an owner and you want to put in a request for a waiver. So I'm going to go to request. And then I'm going to go over here to add new. And I'm going to put in my request. So in this case, we're going to say owner, late fee waiver, and tell it next. And then title, I need a waiver. This waiver amount requested, let's say $500. Reason for waiver, I do not want to pay it. Okay. Now we have a little disclaimer down here. Thank you for your submission. We will respond with your board's decision. And up here at the top, the information provided will be forwarded to your board for review. The request does not guarantee approval, and we will reach out to you with any additional information needed. And when I'm done, I can click Save. Right. So it provided a pop this waiver out there for me, excuse me. So next, what I can do is I can go to my flows and flow page, and I can take a look at owner waiver request. So this is the resident request that was just created for Mr. Stark. And it created a flow for him. And if you want to see that resident request, I'll pull that up very quickly on his Find Account page for Mr. Stark. Pull that up and we'll go to his resident request tab. And you can see there's the fee waiver that I just created. Sorry, it's right here. And then here's the flow that is associated with that. And right now it's in the manager review step. So if you want to see the steps that are included with this, feel free to go out. Excuse me, sorry about that. Feel free to go out and pull up that template and you can see all the steps included. There will be different steps that are in the owner refund request. So to access our items, we're going to go again to flows and flow actions. And here is the manager review. And if I click on the pencil to edit, this will once again give me all the information on the flow. So give me a report to review. So once again, I can pull up a report. This is a subscription, just like we were talking about earlier. I can look at my owner transactions, and then I can decide whether or not I want to approve this. So in this case, I've got 3 decisions to choose from. I've got a full approval, got a board approval needed, or I can deny it. So full approval means it's okay, it's completely ready to go. I'm okay approving this. Board approval means I need the board to look at it. And then denied means no way, no how. Denial will generate a letter. And then there's a little note on here. Please note, denial will generate a letter directly to the owner with the note text included. So when you're clicking on denied, it's going to require a note. And then whatever you pop in that note will appear on your letter. So next option, I'm going to go ahead and go with board approval needed. Okay. So as you can see, that's dropped off my list and it's gone to the board for approval. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll pull up a board account so you guys can see what that's going to look like. You should be able to see the portal now. And on this page, if you're on your board portal tab, you will see a square called action items. Just go ahead and click on that. And that will take them to all the flow items they're going to need to look at. They can pull up the one they want to view, click on the pencil to edit. And then this will give them the same voting buttons that you have when you're in eUnify. And they can either approve the flow or they can deny the flow. If they don't want this owner to get a refund, they can go ahead and deny it. However, if they do deny it, they will need to put a note on here as to why they're denying it. And if they deny it, that next step is going to be generating that letter. So whatever they're putting in here is going to pop on that letter to go to the owner. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and click approved. And as you can see, it drops off my list. However, if I click all, excuse me, it's sitting right there so I can review it at any time if I need to. And it shows me that I've already made that decision. Okay, so back over into eUnify. So we're going to go back to my flow actions, which that's what you should see now. And now it's telling me I have a new item to work on. So now it's telling me to post the owner waiver. So as I'm the recipient, I need to go and post that owner waiver onto the account. When I'm done posting the owner waiver, I can click completed, or I can click additional information required if I want additional information. However, if I do click this, I am going to need to put a note on what kind of information I need. So in this case, I'm just going to say I magically posted the waiver and I've completed that step. And as you can see, it disappears off my screen. And if I go back to this flows page, just take a quick look. Now this is also generating a letter to the owner, letting them know that their waiver has been approved. So this will be a letter that generates. I think it's very simple, something like, congratulations, you got a waiver. And I'll take you over there to our process and manage generated screen. So here's Mr. Stark and his waiver request approved letter is there. I go back on flow, it shows me it's still in that step. If I go back over here, I'm going to treat this the same way as any custom letter. I'll go ahead and we can take a quick look at it, just view it very quickly so you can kind of see what it looks like. It's taken a minute to pull up. It's coming up. Okay, here it comes. Okay, and so this is a very simple letter. Dear Mr. Stark, we are writing you regarding your recent request for a waiver. We have reviewed your account carefully and your waiver request is approved and posted to your account. Thank you so much for reaching out. Please feel free to reach out again with any questions or concerns you may have. Now this is set up if anybody's looking at the very odd placement, the return address, and the mailing address. This is set up to go out to LetterStream. So those items have to be in further. And what that means also is on your custom letter, if you don't want to have to review every single one of these that you send out, you can access this action type and change it to auto fulfill. So it doesn't, you don't even have to look at it. You'll just automatically head over to LetterStream and then LetterStream will mail it out for you. So you can be almost completely hands off if that's what you want to do. All righty. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to finish that. I'm going to go ahead and print it. And then I'm going to go over to my manage printed page. So pretty much like everything else. Oops, I'm going to give it a custom letter. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and I can process fulfillment here if I want to send it to LetterStream, or I can just finalize it and then I can manually print it, completely up to me. But once that happens, This will update and this will tell me that it's completed, because sending out that letter to the owner, letting them know that their waiver's been processed, that is the last step. Now, once again, custom letter is going to use whatever custom letter rules you set up in your custom letter workflow. So if you're telling it to email only, then it'll only email. If you're telling it to email and mail, it'll do that. If you're telling it to mail only, it will do that. So however you set up that custom letter, you have that. You can customize that however you want, and that's what it's going to do. Okay, so those are our account flows. We'll look at association flows in a moment, but I wanted to see if there were any questions that you guys have. Okay, I don't see any questions. So let's move on to an association flow. We'll only do maybe one or two of these. There are a few different ones you can choose from. We'll just do a couple for simplicity's sake. So the first one that we're going to look at is a fairly big one. We're going to take a look at financials. So in order to process a financial flow, I'm going to go to Accounting, Financial, Association GL Setup. It already has Sun Valley 3 pulled up for me. So in order to access my flows, I'm going to go click on this, go over page actions. I'm going to click on initiate flow. This will give me all the flows that all the templates, excuse me, that I currently have set up for association. So I can choose my budget approval process. I can choose my monthly board package review, monthly board package review, board and homeowner packets, or uploading meeting minutes to the board portal. So you notice we have two for monthly board packages, one for just monthly board package, and then one for board and homeowner packages. The difference between the two of those, this first one is going to provide a board packet, and then it's going to save it to the portal, and then that's all it's going to do. The second one, board and homeowner packets, is going to create that board package, save it to the portal. Then it's also going to create a homeowner packet, excuse me, as well, which is generally just a balance sheet and an income statement. But we will talk about in future sessions how to customize these. So if you want to put more or less information in there, you can. But it'll take that homeowner packet and it will upload it for your homeowners to the portal as well. Once again, to keep it simple, we're going to choose the one with less steps. We're going to choose the monthly board package review. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to initiate and I'm going to tell it okay. Okay. So in order to see what's going on with this particular one, I'm going to go to activities, flows, and first thing I'm going to go to that flows page again, because I just want to take a look at what it looks like. So here is my monthly board package review. This is for the association. No account information because this is an association flow, not an account level flow. This tells me what it's going to do. In this flow, it creates the monthly board package for review. Once fully approved, the package is saved to the portal. This tells me what it's doing now. Right now, it's generating the financial package, which is a system step. So we're just gonna have to wait for that to finish. And I just refreshed my screen and I can see it's done. So now I'll be able to start working it. While it's generating your reports or your letters, there's really nothing more you can do, but just wait for it to finish. You have a start date, an end date, and then who's responsible. Okay, so I know this is my manager review. Since I'm listed as the manager, it's my responsibility. So I'm going to go to activities, flows, and my flow actions. Okay, so it's telling me I need to review the generated financials. Click on that pencil to edit. I'm going to see the same types of items that I saw before. Now, in order to access this, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on a file. And I'm just going to take a look at my financials and see what's there. So I can see I have my balance sheet, income statement. There's an AP aging detail. There's an approved budget. Not approved budgets. There is a balance sheet consolidated. So there are a lot of reports in here. And then my manager can review those reports and they can decide to do one of two things. They can decide to approve the financials or not to approve the financials. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and decide to approve the financials. Now, if I clicked on do not approve, once again, it's going to highlight this in red. It's not going to allow me to proceed because if I'm not going to approve those financials, then I need to let someone know why I'm not approving them. Next stop, though, I'm going to go and approve those financials. I'm going to go ahead and approve these. Okay. So now, as you can see, I no longer have access to this account. And if I go back to my flows and flow page, I will see because it's in board member review status. So let me pull up my board member. I think I'm going to stick with my handy Mr. Stark. He's board president over here at Sudden Valley. And you should be looking at my portal screen right now. Okay, so once again, if I go to my board portal, and then I click on action items, because that's where all of these are going to live, I'll see I've got a monthly board package to review. Click on that pencil to edit. And if I click on that report, I will see that I have the exact same reports to look at as the manager did. So I can just go through here, review everything that I need. And that will also include, right now, this particular package that's attached, and I didn't mention this earlier, my apologies, will also include any bank statements if you have any that are attached, as well as AP invoices if you're loading those into Unify. So all of that will attach to this package as well and be available for your board. Once I have reviewed it, oops, sorry, I closed myself out of there. Once I have reviewed it, I can either decide to approve the financials or not to approve the financials. If I want to not to approve them, though, I'm going to have to give a reason why. Once again, this requires a comment. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and review, or excuse me, to approve the financials. So as you can see, that is dropped off my list. And then I can go back over here to my flow actions. And then as you can see, it's not here. So if I go check, what's it doing now? It's saving the financials to the portal. So we just need to give a minute to save to the portal. When I refresh, it's asking me if the files are saved correctly. So what it's just prompting me to do is go out to the portal and make certain that I can see those reports that I just did on the portal. So once again, you should be looking at board dashboard for Mr. Stark. If I go down to board docs, and I can find the most recent one. So this is the one I just did. And I can click on that and it'll bring up the reports that were just approved. And then once I've verified that everything is approved, I can go back over here. As this now should be sitting in my flow actions, which it is. Check portal to see if files saved correctly. And then I can say, either say file exists or file is not there. If I click on file is not there, it'll send it back to reprocess it. If I click on file exists, excuse me, it'll move me on to the next step, which in this case will be closed. All right, should be completed. And I'll stop for a moment and take any questions you guys have. You want to pop in a question about anything we've gone over so far? Okay, I don't see any questions popping up. So we will do one more association account and then we'll start to wrap up from there. Okay. So I'm going to go to accounting, financial, and association GL. Sudden Valley again. I'm going to hover over page actions and click initiate flow. And then I'm going to go in here. And this time I'm going to upload meeting minutes to the board portal and click initiate and then OK. All right. Once I've done that, I can go back over here to my flow page. Once again, I can see this is the upload meeting minutes to the board portal. This is the association. No account because this is an association flow. This flow will allow portal upload of meeting minutes, what block it's on, which is uploading the meeting minutes, start date, any end date, and of course, who's responsible. So what this is wanting is the meeting minutes. So if I go over here to the association GL, oh, no, sorry. I got to go to activities, flows, and my flow actions. My apologies, guys. And I click on that pencil to edit. I will see that I need to upload meeting minutes, excuse me. And in order to do that, I'm going to click on the select button over here where it says current step attachments. Now I've put in the description what you need to be able to do in order to upload that. So go to the current step attachments section, click on select, find the meeting minutes file, click open, then click on the manager approval button. So once you get everything loaded in, and you get your meeting minutes uploaded, from wherever you have them saved, you just click on open, pop up in here. Once you get those uploaded, you can either go ahead and approve the meeting minutes, or excuse me, send it for manager approval, my apologies, or you can put it on hold. Once again, putting it on hold, it's going to turn this red and you'll have to give a reason for it. But once you upload the meeting minutes, you can then send it to the manager for approval. Alrighty, so it's gone to the manager for approval. In this case, I'm also the manager. So I'll click on the pencil to edit. Now I can see what I uploaded in current step attachments is now sitting here on all flow files. And then here are the painstakingly recorded, typed, and reported board meeting minutes. So if I'm good with these minutes, I can send it for board review, or I can send it for changes. Maybe I want to change a couple of things. I can send it back to the admin assistant for changes, or I can put it on hold. Either of these options will result in needing to leave a note, or you can just send it on to the board for review. So in this case, I'm going to send it for review. And then now that it's in the boards bucket, which it should be, yeah, there it is, board review. I'm going to go back out to the portal. and back to that board dashboard, which you guys should see now. Click on the action items, and then I'll see upload meeting minutes to board portal. Click on the pencil to edit. Then that board member will be able to pull up those same meeting minutes that I just looked at and approved. Wham, bam, bibbity bow. Sorry, I hopped out of there again. And then they can decide they either want to approve it themselves or they can ask for changes. So they can send it back to you for changes, but then they have to put in the notes what changes they want made. So in this case, though, board's just going to approve it. Yahoo, approval going through. Go back to our flow page, and we'll see that for the upload meeting minutes to board portal, it's in files saved correctly, which means I need to go back to the portal and verify that the files are saved correctly. Now, this might seem like we're bopping back and forth between the portal and eUnify a lot, but this is only because we're doing a demo and I am the board as well as all of the staff. So to see what they're seeing, I have to flip over to it. But the only thing you guys are going to need to get on the portal for is just to go check and make certain that the files hit in the place they need to hit. Otherwise, you're working only in eUnify. Okay, so once again, you should now be seeing the board dashboard, board portal dashboard. For Sun Valley 3, we're once again in Mr. Stark's account. So we'll scroll down to his board docs, and we should be able to go and we should be able to pull up his January minutes. And they say minutes January. You just click on those. Oops, sorry. Click the wrong thing. Click on that, and that will pull up the January meeting minutes. All righty. Now that I've checked that their meeting minutes are on there, I'm going to go back to that My Flow Actions. And it's wanting me to verify files have been correctly saved to the portal. Hop on in here, tell it the minutes are saved. I can also click on minutes not saved if I don't see them, and it'll reload those minutes. I don't see it anymore. So if I go back to that flow page, it should say meeting minutes uploaded, which means you're done. And it's given me that end date too, so I know I'm done. Okay, so those are the just a couple of the templates that I wanted to walk you guys through. We're just about done. We're still within time for this one. So I kind of wanted to show you a couple other neat things that you can do with these flows. So if you have any questions, it's a good time to hop in. All right, I don't see anyone hopping in with a question, so we'll just go through a few extra things. One of the first things I wanted to talk about is how to access your flow actions. The first way you can do that is to go to Activities, Flows, and My Flow Actions and click on that page. And this will show me all of the actions I have that are currently open. This will be firm, account, association, whatever's out there. I can click on the template if I just want to see, I want to look at all of my owner waivers that are currently out there. I can look at the ones that need a decision. I can look at ones that I've given a positive or a negative decision to. Or I can look at everything. So positive, negatives are still out there needing decisions. So whatever I'm looking for, I can look at. All righty. Go back to needs decision. You can set start date and end date, and you can even search by contains. If we click on the pencil to edit, I'm just going to pick one of these guys and we go over here to notes. We can see any additional notes that have been left in this particular flow. In the case of this one, there were none. All righty. If you need to access your flow actions, this is one good place to do it. Another good place is directly from your home page. You're going to have a box labeled My Assigned Items. If you go to Action Items, you're going to see your flow templates, and you're going to see the ones that are currently need your decision. So you can just click on one. Let's just say the budget approval process, and it'll take me right into the item itself. I can review any notes just like we did on the My Flow Actions page. I can make a decision, send to the board, make changes on hold. Let's say I tell it to make changes. And then I can tell them to make changes. And then it leaves my item. Of course, it pops right back in because I'm the next step, because I'm doing all the steps. But if you weren't the next step, it would head on to whoever that's assigned to when you tell them to make changes. So that's another pretty nifty little way to access your flows. Another way to access flows is via email. You can set up notifications for your flows. Let me just move this over here really quickly so you can see how that goes. So right here, you can see on My Flow Actions, it'll tell me that a flow is created. And if I click on the access URL link, this will take me to My Flows page. So I can go to that item and I can access it. And you can see all the flows that I have been creating today. You can see the flow, name of the flow, the step it's in, and what needs to happen. So lots of different items, lots of different actions on here that I've been creating. So all of these will show up in your emails if you create a notification for it. And you can access it directly from your email. So you don't have to be in eUnify to access this item and to take care of whatever you need to take care of. Back to eUnify. Let's check back in with our flow page one more time before we quit. I went to activities, flows, and flow. Now, if you're looking at a flow, let's say this, let's go grab one that's open. How about this one? If I click on the pencil to edit right here, I'll see the overview of the flow. It'll tell me it's in process. It'll tell me the flow type it is. It'll tell me the account it's been assigned to. So in this case, Mr. Stark, who's responsible for that flow, the title of the flow, and then description on what it does. If I click over to blocks, here are the blocks that we were looking at for the template. So while you're working this flow, you can take a look and you can see all the different blocks and what those blocks will do. Now, you're not going to be able to access or make any changes here, because all this is meant to do is to show you what happens next. These are not meant to allow you to change anything. If you need to change your template, then you need to go to the templates page and change. This is just to allow you to see how things flow. If you click on the show all arrows, it'll kind of show you from one to the next where your positive decisions go and where your negative decisions go. If you kind of look, you don't see a lot coming out of manager review. It's because there are 3 decisions. The multiple lines will show up when you have 2 decisions because that indicates a positive and a negative. All right, so I'm going to cancel out of here. You got a little more information. If you go here to this view, so I'm going to click on the magnifying glass to view it. Same types of information, what type of flow it is, what association it's assigned to, any files that are attached. If you go to blocks, it'll give you that same breakdown of what's happening, any notes associated or any documents added. And then if I go to log, this will show me who's doing what, when they did it. And if it gets stuck, if something isn't working properly and your flow gets stuck, you can go to this log page and you can see why it's stuck. In this case, it didn't get stuck, the flow's finished, but it would tell you if it's got stuck on a certain step. That way you can go in, do some research on why it's getting stuck there. Okay, so that is all I have for today. A few of you stuck around. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor up. I was about to say flow up because I've been saying flow quite a bit. Open the floor to questions. Okay, so I've unmuted all of you on my side. Go ahead on your control panel and click that red microphone with a line through it. It'll turn green. Then I'll be able to hear you. Also, raising your hand helps as well. So, do we have any questions, any comments, any things you guys want a little more information on? I'm not hearing anyone. Just want to verify, give you one more chance. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. Anything you want more information on, just go ahead and click on the red microphone with a line through it, turn it green, and then I will be able to hear you. All right. So I'm not seeing anyone's information pop up. I'm not seeing anyone entering a question. You're welcome to reach out to ticket@eunified.net after the session if you think of something that you want to have more information on. Additionally, if I did not get to your question during our session, I will reach out afterwards with some more information on what you're looking for. So, all right, it doesn't look like anyone has anything else. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Appreciate you guys who stuck with me till the end. Thank you so much for attending, and we'll see you next week.